So I was going to try to do this. I got all my gears and plates cleaned up. I ran them through the ultrasonic cleaner with Dawn Just soap, warm water, dried them off. Now we gotta pull the springs out of these barrels and clean them up in some paint thinner. Wipe them out best you can, and then reassemble them and oil them. So with these, take the barrel side down, just give it a tap, wrap here on the table, hold your hand over this, and the cap should pop off here. There's your cap, put that in there, soak. This right here, I got my homemade mainspring winder. If you're gonna do this, be careful. It can be dangerous. This setup I got here is kind of experimental. Do this at your own risk. There's some YouTube videos on how to make these. I took a couple ideas and mashed them together with some scrap wood I had laying around. But here we go. First you get your barrel, put it in your holder here. It fits. It's kind of, yes, they sell a tool for this, but it's like $300 or $400, I think. I made this for pretty much free from stuff I had laying around. Get your barrel in there, clamp it down to hold it. You don't want to go too tight to crush the barrel, but you sure to heck want to hold it. First time I did one of these, I didn't tighten it enough. This barrel went flying out the other side and went for a spin. So we got her in there. I got like a tap holder and the other side of the, I don't know what you call it, the thing you wind it with. It's the part that you put the key on, so wind it when it's in the clock. I put her in there. Oh, don't forget this. Got a piece of 1-inch conduit. You might have to, not all barrels are the same size, so you got multiple pieces you can, for smaller, bigger barrels, basically buy it so it's a little smaller than the diameter of it. A little smaller than the diameter. You got this cutout to catch in between here where the spring attaches on the inside of the barrel. Now to do this, insert, you need to have, this is like the third time I do it, the third time I've done this, so bear with me. I might even get hurt here. But let's put her, and my setup ain't exactly optimal, but it works. Get it in there, get this on there. The idea of this coupler is so you can have it slide over and get in there to retain the spring, so you can get it out of the barrel. So now gently, slowly wind it the right way. And again, I got my base clamp down here. Hold your fingers on there so the spring don't shoot out the side. Probably wouldn't hurt to be wearing gloves when you do this. Nice thick leather gloves, safety glasses. I always wear safety glasses, so then we got her pretty much compressed. Kind of eyeballing there where that spring attaches the inside of the barrel. Get it behind there. Kind of leave yourself some wiggle room. Now that it's in there, Slowly release your tension back off, and that will hold the spring inside this coupler then. So then get your, I don't know what the heck the terminology is, get that out of there, get that sucker out of there. Now your spring's captured in here. Kind of twist gently. Sometimes you gotta, if you got this in the wrong spot in here, it'll be a pain to get out. So now we got the spring caught here in this adapter I made. So now what we need to do to get the spring out of here is take our barrel out of here, flop it around, and my high quality jig here I made in America. Again, you don't have to go super tight. You don't want to crush that barrel, deform it, because then you'll never get the cap on. And you really don't have to hold it that tight when the barrel's going nowhere on this. We need to hold the spring here. So now we got to insert this side into the barrel to hold it. Actually, we put this in there. Get that in there. Get that in there. Get my tool back on here. Now I got to get the spring in this hook I got. Now carefully, this setup I got this hook has come out on me, so I have a tendency to be slow and careful with this sucker. So you just want to gently, slowly wind it until you can safely get this the retainer off of here. Now is the danger part. Hold the spring from flipping out and slowly reverse her out. And you don't want to let go of this. I have a holder here in case I get in trouble. I can pull that out, but if you let this go, it'll go zinging. So then we'll wind her all the way back out. So there is your spring out of the cup, out of the retainer. And now I can clean the spring here. And just throw it in my jar here with some mineral spirits or paint thinner, kerosene, gasoline, diesel, whatever you want to use. Just got to break down the oil that's on there and put the barrel in. So once you soaked your spring here, just wipe it off and try to get in between the spring here as best you can, wiping it. It's kind of hard to get in there. What I found, I just take a Q-tip or two, and I'm sure this doesn't get all the dirt out, but it's better than not cleaning it, I guess. And just run a Q-tip all up in there. Just try to get it out. Get the dirt out as best you can. It's hard when you get way down towards the center here, but that really doesn't, when it's wound and unwound, that really doesn't sit right next to each other. I mean, there's a gap in there, so it really doesn't grind on each other. This outside is where it really matters the most. The outside circumference of the spring. Kind of work your Q-tip in there, make sure it doesn't leave a bunch of Q-tip in there. clean up your barrel. Wear gloves if you want. I don't. My damage is already done. When I was a kid, my dad would have me clean parts in his parts washer at the gas station, service station. No gloves, nothing. Right in the minnow spirits all day, all morning long. I'm sure it's caused some brain damage, but whatever. I'll get that barrel cleaned out, get the end cap cleaned out, and then we can reassemble. Where's that end cap? I'm gonna watch. This is the second one I did. Look how dirty that stuff is. It's like fishing for a pickle. Come here, pickles. So then back together we go. This is the reverse of the disassembly. A little more dangerous because you got to wind this spring out in the open and make sure it stays on this hook. So reverse order, we still need this back on here. Need our arbor on there. We need our barrel in here this ways. Remember which way you gotta wind it. Some springs you gotta wind the other way. I haven't gotten there yet, but I think I got it where I can flip this hook around and catch it the other way. And there's supposed to be a rail. I don't know. Some people have a slider here. I'm learning as I go here. This ain't gonna go. I gotta do it this way. I'll get it in there. Why am I having so much trouble here? Getting this sucker in here. Let's do this. There we go. Come on. Oh, don't do that. This way. I didn't leave myself enough room in here when I made this. Get all this stuff in there. So now comes the sketchy part. Getting this hook on here. And you want it so you want to have it so you can get this on over there. So there we go. You want to make sure that that spring stays hooked on there. This is where it gets dangerous. I don't like the way that is, so we're gonna more like this. There we go. See how this hook wants to come back off of here. I don't like that. I got carpal tunnel here. I gotta kind of hold the spring. kind of hold this hook down, because otherwise that might fly off of there and go crazy. Now you want to wind it just so you can get over there like that. You probably couldn't see it because my hands are in the way. And slowly let her off. Now you're captured in your retainer again. I got our spring recaptured. Now flip it around. I don't know, some people grease their springs. This one had oil on it. I'm just going to put, I got some 016 motor oil I'm using, synthetic. Now this is where you got to kind of have it not super tight, but tight enough to hold it so the whole barrel won't spin out on you. Pay attention where your hook is on the inside of the barrel, because you got to get this hooked on there. So kind of press her in there on an angled angle. Get her in there. She'll feel her snap, and then you should hook. Now we can tighten her back up, pull our retainer out, and the spring should be back in the barrel. Now again, just slowly, steadily, get to where you can get this retainer out of there. And then slowly let the pressure off. Voila! The spring's back in the barrel. The clean spring's back in the barrel. Now to oil it, where did my toothpick go here? Oh, dropping stuff all over. Now to oil it, I got my, what is it? OW16 synthetic oil. Just take a toothpick, kind of dab it on the spring here, and it'll soak right down. I just go all the way around. Some people grease these suckers and get in there. This is the way I've done it. I don't know, maybe it won't work, but it's worked for the couple of clocks I did that I got running for a couple months now. So just give her a good dabs all the way around the top of the tight spring here, and then in the middle here where it's still, see how that spring's still open, just kind of take your toothpick and go in there and get some oil in there. It'll eventually work its way around in there. You don't want to pour it in there because you don't want this leaking out all in the clock, making a mess. I think that should be plenty. It was pretty, these are pretty actually soaked when I took them apart. then we can put our cap back on. Get this out of the way. Take my adapter here. Just kind of work around there, and then I got a little mallet here. Can you guys see this? Here, further. Just kind of give her a couple of wraps. Get her back seated in there. Get around the edge. A little more over here. And then take a little oil here, right around here where that inner bush or whatever the hell they call it makes contact with the barrel and the barrel. Give her some good dabs of oil on there. Should soak in there. And to make sure everything's seated and all good, I like to put her back in here one last time and give her a couple ups and downs of the windies. Oh. Make sure everything's good. Get in there. I don't have my height quite right on here. I just slowly wind her up, make sure everything's seated and catching. And that should help work that oil around before you get it in there. Oh, that happens. This my setup here for my chuck ain't so great. It has a tendency to slip out. I think I need a smaller tap holder here. Or tighten it up a little more. Oops. Didn't hurt anything. And there you have it. Actually, I like to go through one more time and oil them pivot points through the end of the barrel. Give her a couple more drops. And that's it. And do that for all 3 barrels. And voila. I gotta do one more yet, but and I can start reassembly.